Hi everybody, it's been a bit. I'm about to head outside, but first I wanted to just show you what I've done indoors since I've been homebound more or less. And we still haven't gotten those killer frosts yet, so let's see what's growing. Well, first inside and then we'll head outside and see what's still green. So I brought in a few plants that were outdoors for the summer. One was the lantana. I trimmed quite a bit of this. It was really getting unruly. And then also the citronella scented geranium. I trimmed a whole bunch of that and I'm propagating for reselling in the spring. And the lantana will, given the right situation, keep flowering for us. And even the citronella might flower too. Oh yeah, my what's this called? Corn plant. It flowered like a week ago. It's already on its way out. But it's always so exciting because you never know when that's going to flower and it smells so good. At least I like the smell. This is the aloe. I'm very happy that I brought it outside because it got nice and chunky. I had lost quite a bit to digging up, I guess, of squirrels, but pups came back stronger than ever. If you recall back in the beginning when I first brought this out, even after I had like acclimated it for a week, I guess, it still all the main leaves turned like silver, purpley, like just looking terrible. But eventually it fixed itself and they turned back to green. This particular leaf here was started getting eaten by a bird. So I'll probably just cut that off at some point. But otherwise, this plant is looking so nice. Over here, this is the rosemary that was outside for a while and now it's been brought in. I have taken cuttings off of this to save for the kitchen plenty of times over the season. And now it's indoors to keep growing. And speaking of the citronella cuttings, here they are. Right now they're in water until I can get my act together and put them in soil, which I have preparing as we speak. And the last thing I brought in was the ginger that I didn't bring out or I didn't have outside until like July. And that's not nearly enough time to have gotten any good sized ginger root. So the ginger is going to be in here under grow light for the winter. I had another rhizome that I planted in recently. So another ginger should be coming out of here. And also, I'm trying, it's not an experiment. I've done this before. I've grown stuff indoors. But this is going to be pepper. This is, oh, I forgot what it's called. It came in a mystery pack, so I never actually know what it is. But it's a hot pepper that I'm going to try to do indoors starting now or yesterday. And so there's 3 seeds in there. I know it's a big container, but that's all I had at the time when it occurred to me to do it. So we're going to see if we can get some hot pepper coming out of there. Future projects is to up pot some of these, like the orchid is got a lot of extra root, aerial roots that are starting to die off, so I need to trim that up and maybe upgrade the pot. I want to just revitalize the soil on my, oh gosh, what are these called? The pothos. They need to be repotted and revitalized. And there's another one of the orchids. And also I've started sprouts. Just it's been a day that these variety seeds were put in, so it's going to be like 4 or 5 days before they're edible. So that's going to add to the green lettuce that I still have outside. So I was hemming and hawing about how to get those plants back in. I had put them in the garage for a week to, well, it was chilly out. They don't necessarily like 40-degree weather and 30-degree weather. So I put them in the garage to get them acclimated back to indoor living. And then neem oil. So I decided to just do a drench of the soil. Like I filled a big pot underneath so that it would soak up from the bottom. And then I drenched the top with a whole bunch of the liquid. That's neem oil and dish soap and water. And just let it sit there and soak for hours. And then, drip dry and then bring it in. So hopefully that will keep any bugs, good or bad, from infesting my house when it's warm enough. Now we're outside. You can see how still very green it is. We are a week out to Thanksgiving, and these collards have pretty much been sacrificial plants most of this season. You can see how holy they are. They continue to be, which is fine. One of the things I got done in mid-October was plant my allium bulbs that I gotten quite a bit. There are usually daffodils that come up in this area, but over the years they've gotten less and less, what's the word, abundant. And also my husband chopped them up early summer, so they didn't have that time period to gain their strength like they're supposed to. So I figured I would go ahead and replace some and put some in. I had some, oh crap, I forgot the name now. Some other tulipy thing in here, but it didn't take very good. Only like 2 plants of the 10 bulbs have been surviving. So now that we've had, mid October, it's been a month. The weather did not stay cold, plenty of warm days. So a lot of them have actually come up, which I hope that'll be okay now that we will eventually get to winter. But the varieties I got from Hudson Valley Seed Co. are the Allium Ping Pong, Allium Purple Sensation, the Muscari Fantasy Creation, Muscari Valerie Finis, Allium Nigrum, and over here, which the dog dug up quite a bit of, I put in more Crocus Goldilocks, which is a spring crocus versus the saffron crocus, which is a fall crocus. And you can see here some of that original saffron I had planted way back 2 years ago now. Oh, I mulched a bit too aggressively here. But yeah, here's some of the Goldilocks also coming up back there. I have this here because the dog kept digging them up over and over and over. I did not take out my calendula. I let them just be for the winter, and then I take care of it in the spring. And you can see still flowers, flowers, flowers. The lemon balm still going strong. The bee balm, on a really nice day in the 60s, the bees are still around doing their thing. And the St. John's fire, I believe, the salvia's here, still giving us some beautiful color. These twigs of zinnias I do want to take out at some point. But other than that, here are some saffron crocus plants coming up. And it looks like I got a pretty good number of them that came up. There was 30. I don't know if 30 have come up. I'm not going to count them. And if you can see there in the background, still plenty of cherry tomatoes. It's ridiculous how much cherry tomatoes there still is. Like, that's the sun gold, and you can still see fruit on there, and it's still delicious. Over here, my little bed of greens. Collards never gives up. That looks like kohlrabi there. This also looks like a kohlrabi, but it was ravaged. But it's coming back. And then this is a lacinato kale that may or may not come back. I think it will. And then down at the bottom should be some turnip greens, all looking really healthy. So I decided recently that I'm gonna take this apart in the spring. It's falling apart. That's what pallets do. They fall apart. And luckily, I'd already done the work of putting grow bags, so those are movable. But for now, they're housing some celery that have come back since I did a major harvest, and they look strong, and they should make it through the winter. Back there is some Jerusalem artichoke. I don't need to touch that until, well, I guess I could start harvesting it now, but I haven't felt the need to. So we'll see what that looks like some other time. Now this bed is a big undertaking. So I think what I'm gonna do is just, because the soil has sunk over time, as happens with soil, I think I'm just gonna shorten the pallets, so cut them across so that I'm not reaching down so much. Plus, it's providing a lot of shade to the plants being taller. So I'm gonna, yeah, that's the plan for now, is to cut down the pallets so they'll only be like a foot off the ground versus the 2 or so foot they are now. Peas. We have some showing peas, really delicious. We had enough time for the peas to mature, so I've been enjoying that. You always wonder if the rhubarb's going to be fine, but they are. They're going to be fine. They'll survive the winter. Oh, that's a good looking rutabaga right there. Gonna harvest that probably for Thanksgiving. Have a little mash. And nothing much going on here, just the same old. I see back there the fennel is still going strong. This bed still just doing its thing. There's peas that haven't died yet, beans that haven't died yet, peppers that haven't died yet. So much green. I mean, there've been some damage, definitely, but for the most part, still plenty of good fresh growth. So I did do something. I did clean this bed up recently. This was mostly tomatoes, and then this is a shishito that I'm gonna try and overwinter. So I already defoliated it, getting it ready to go inside. And then that bell pepper, I haven't decided, I might also bring that in. We'll see. And then this bed just needs like a topping of mulch or compost. There's like one spinach plant. I don't know how many times I planted spinach in here. None of them stayed, I think, slugged. So there's one there. Um, there's no like frost in the foreseeable future in the forecast, so I might actually just throw seeds and see what happens. Yeah, I still have to clean this up, but it's no rush. I can do this in the spring, I feel like, even though it tends to get hectic in the spring. I'll probably kick myself then. But yeah, it's not, I'm not moved to do any cleanup of that. I had already harvested whatever was harvestable of the eggplants, so these baby eggplants are just going to be fodder for the compost. And we'd already stopped with the okra. That's a lot more sensitive to the cold. Although I see a fruit up there. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but it's not going to be very good. The garlic was planted and mulched. The greenery, yeah, those are Brussels sprouts. I decided to buy a different kind of Brussels sprouts. Maybe it'll be better for me because I haven't had much luck with this variety. And then our broccoli, we might not see anything. Probably won't see anything from these till spring, late spring, because everything's slowing in their growth. It's cold, the sun isn't there, so these will just exist until it warms up again. You can see still tomatoes hanging on the vines. Over here, the blueberry-ish area is I topped off the soil with peat moss for the acidity, and also I had some pine needles in place somewhere, so I threw that on top as well. So those are set for the winter. I'm very curious how this artichoke is going to do. If we don't have a real freezing winter, I wonder if this will overwinter. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let it do what it does. But I think the main reason it never got big enough is because of the maple here sucking up the nutrients and the soil. This soil, I never like dug it or anything, so it could be like a hard pan for the roots of the artichoke, and that's why it's stunted, in my opinion. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see how that does. So here are some lettuce that I overseeded. Look how beautiful. So as the sprouts come up in the kitchen indoors, I'm gonna add to these greens and slowly go through these. There's plenty of like already big leaves that should have been eaten like a week ago, but they are doing so well. I'm so happy. That's awesome. And then the Greenstalk, I think I showed you already that I had planted the Dusty Miller in here. They're doing fine. No transplant shock. And still plenty of great greenery. Celery's doing great. That parsley is doing great. Still some strawberries. Can't fail with these. I wish I knew which one this was specifically, because it just continues pumping out strawberries. The Inazaki cabbage is doing its thing, still being attacked. Yeah, this particular plant was like the strongest, and it's the one that gets attacked the most. Whereas now this is finally catching up, and it might actually form a head. I don't know if that's it should have a head. That's what the picture looked like, but it's been open all this time. But you could eat this like as a cut and come again and take out the outer leaves. And this is supposed to be a red acre cabbage. It's taken a while to get to this size, but there it is. The dill is still growing, and the carrots. The carrots are fine. Oh yeah, I lined. I had extra cloves of garlic. I have so much garlic, so I lined the raised beds, the birdies, with garlic on the perimeters, just like on one side where I thought it would be the sunniest. So this bed and the ones up there have garlic also on the perimeter of them. So I added like another 20 heads to my inventory. And that's about it. That I would say is the official end of 2024 tours, garden tours. We may or may not still have perfectly good greens in December, but I don't think they'll need to be shown because they'll just be the same thing all over again. So I am looking forward to growing inside, doing some indoor grow. I might join one of these groups, collaboration places, and do that. Sprouting my own salad, I always enjoy that because it's so easy. I used to do microgreens in the whole, little tray with, I use soil versus just like a mat. But that started to get cumbersome. So now I just sprout them in the jars, and that works perfectly for us. And I did buy like in bulk the seeds for a salad mix versus little packets. That's not good. Buy the bulk of those microgreen seeds, and it'll last you, depending on how much you eat them, it could last you for several years. And then they're always there. Like, you won't know exactly what seeds you have, but if you needed usually broccoli or something, then you have it there in your arsenal to plant outside. They're not just for indoor. You can plant them outside if you need to, in case you run out of those other seeds. Well, all right, time to get on with the rest of my day. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like, comment. That really helps out the channel. I'll talk to y'all again soon. So well, harvest more. Bye.